chloroton. It's full of chloride. It looks a lot like Planet 1, does it not? But I assure you, it is nothing like that. This planet has a unique gimmick and some pretty cool music. But for this planet, we'll be going above ground and below ground, with possibly flipping the gravity. But first down here is, of course, treasure. I know it's only worth about 400, but treasure is treasure right now. Also, we have an enemy spawner. It's a funnel. So we destroy the funnel and move on. Now, just because it's lower gravity than our previous planet doesn't mean it's still not going to be a pain in the butt sometimes. It has pineapple, wood, and mice. It's a valuable container of empty containers. But it's not empty if it has stuff in it. That makes no sense at all. Alright, we have a bunch of diamonds to the left. But for right now, we are going to the right to get some more fuel. Probably the easiest fuel I've ever gotten. Yeah, my setup... Last Bible 3, is there a way to train a monster faster? I mean, outside of it making it the only monster in your party, there really isn't too many ways I can think of to increase the experience on that. Besides fighting in the area with the highest amount of experience. So we're going to go over here to the far right. Some of you who are following along with the Game Facts map will laugh at me for doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. For the posterity of those without a map. First of all, gravity problems. Nobody wants gravity problems. Also, yep, I'm not far down in the right crevice. Yeah, I'd say if you're in that game higher than level 50, you probably don't need to do too much experience grinding unless you're doing it for fun. I mean, there's plenty of monsters to train after level 50. But it's kind of like me grinding to level 99 in Final Fantasy 4. I did it for fun. But I really only needed about level 60 or 65 to complete the game, at most. And off we go to get some well-deserved treasure. That seemed almost too easy. Almost. Now if I can get up here without blowing up, that will be a nice treat. Not to be confused with a trick-or-treat. Californium, gold, and nickel. Worth absolutely nothing. That makes no sense at all. But isn't Californium good stuff, along with gold? Not according to the Space Loonies. That there was a prank chest. And it makes you slightly upset. Alright, back to the left, because there is some fuel to the left. There's also a bunch of diamonds, but we want the fuel. Because now, if I dive far enough, I will meet this guy. A very weird looking mothership of sorts. Well, I wouldn't call it a mothership, I'd call it more of a junior mothership. But nonetheless, some titanium bullets at this point would be awesome. And down here is deeper into the crevice. Because we want that fuel all the way over there. In the hook, line, and sinker. And it's going to be a dangerous journey. And I'm probably going to lose a life or two. Even though I have unlimited lives right now. I did not keep very many of the boxes as a kid, unfortunately. You know, you think about, and when you're a kid, you think about just throw away the box, game's the valuable thing in it. And eventually you'll lose the manual under the cushion seats. And mom or dad would throw it away thinking it's a piece of junk. That's just the way it worked back then. And I'm going to purposely blow myself up because, well, doing this without a ship is impossible. This little man can't handle all that fuel. He doesn't even have his own tractor beam. So many random enemies. So many. And now we have to do the oopsie daisy. All the way back to the ship. Yep, that's what we call it, the oopsie daisy. Because we got a baby in tow. Good thing this baby doesn't explode if we hit the wall with it. Oh, I went a little bit too far to the right there. And now I'm a pinball. Oop, I messed that up again. So, like I said, in a regular playthrough, you would be making several trips forward and back here. And even if you made a little progress, that would be fantastic. And there's a wormhole over there. So let's deposit baby into wormhole. So I don't have to go all the way to the mothership. There we go. Oh, that's the thing with video games. They're cheaper in their land of origin, which is usually Japan, if you're talking consoles. If you're talking PCs, it's about usually more the US. Although the European market was pretty strong back then as well. And we have everything we need on the left side of the map. So it's time to dive deep. This may be a little biased for those of you curious watching this video later. I'm answering a lot of questions on my stream, and I am happy to answer most of them. I'm also happy to squeak a doggy toy. But as far as PAL versus NTSC, aka the US versions, I always have to say go with the NTSC because of the one of the problems was the frame rate. 30 versus 25. NTSC, the American version, had 30. And well, just because of the way electric outlets worked in those days, you didn't have much of a choice, unfortunately. I mean, some people will swear by PAL, because it's either what they grew up with, or they find the slightly slower frame rates actually helpful to them in some games. It's not always about the frame rate, there's always some sorts of differences here and there. And here we are going slightly deeper, but we're not at the deepest point yet. There is fuel down here, but it will be difficult to get to, because we have tons of enemies. I mean, there's plenty of gems as well. But I'm also getting money from blasting said random enemies as well. So I should have enough by the time I get to the next shop. I want to go right in between these purple rocks so I can get to my fuel. There's my fuel. And if I'm correct, there is a wormhole very nearby. I've never been the type of person that got a lot of interviews. But I think I might have a thunderstorm brewing. I mean, I'm not going to stop just because I heard a little thunder outside. But once again, if I suddenly lose connection, it is what it is. And sometimes, well, sometimes it is what it is. I like saying that now. Because people want excuses nowadays. And I did not mean to go in the wormhole with my man. Also, I want to go right, not left. So, for a planet called Chlorintang, there's not very much chlorine down here, is there? Yet. A nice touch they put in this game is that they actually put tiny little stars in the background. So you know which way you're going, if there's no ground around. Which is actually a pretty cool effect if you think about it. This is my second session that I've done. I played it about 2 or 3 weeks from the stream date last time. I think it was 3 weeks actually. So, of course, rust tends to accumulate when you don't play a game every day or so. That's why I'm not doing as well as I would in a lot of games. And like I said, just across the crevice is that wormhole to gobble up the delicious fuel. And that's all the fuel we need. I know, only 3 containers. Seems too easy, doesn't it? The answer is yes. Now, before we go further into the planet, there's a little bit of radioactivity here. Because we need credits. We need that money. I know I've said that 100 times, but I'm going to say it 101. Maybe 102 times. Yep, once again, radioactives. Sadly, they didn't make any jokes with that one. And it's always the same value. It makes me sad. Alright. Down the crevice we go. Even further. And now we're going underwater. Yes. Into the pool, kids! It's time for some chlorium. And yes. Into the water we go. I could have used that like about 5 seconds ago. But nonetheless, strangely enough, our jetpack works just fine. Also more thunder. Let's see. The difference between Chrono Trigger US and Japan. There's a few cases of US censorship of the original Japanese version. Like Luca getting drunk at a party. Spoiler alert. And there's probably a few in the windows as well. But nothing major that I can think of right now. But what I got right now is a need to pause for a second. To look at that map. And to adjust my map. Now looking down here, forgive my eyes, I'm getting older here. There is some fuel and a gem and radioactive thing, but mostly it's me going to get that piece of the beautiful golden warp ship in this lovely pool. Also missiles everywhere. They are now using missiles against me. Those homing missiles. Also, you notice I'm falling up. That's right, gravity is now reversed, in a sense. Or it's different, at least. Which can be hard to tell because of gravity wells. Well, well, well. Water physics, they're fun for all ages. But the further we go west, to the left, the closer we get to the large wormhole. Very carefully to the wormhole. Alright, no problem. And I'm going to sneeze. I hope I remember to edit that out in the YouTube version. Because sneezing is unprofessional. Because I don't have a sneeze button readily available. People think this is a professional run-through. No, I'm just a regular guy. Here to chill. Irregular, I should say. And basically give you an idea of what games were. Oh, gravity. Why gravity do this? It's getting very narrow in here, isn't it? Also, it's even worth the giant gravity wells. The good news is, there are also 2 additional jet pods a little further ahead. So if you're feeling risky or lucky, well, you can abuse your invulnerability frames by bouncing off walls and get to said pods. Notice I said pods plural. But nope, we have Junior blocking my path. Along with another warp. And you notice there are actually so many enemies on the screen that I cannot shoot very many bullets. Which, while is good to prevent flickering and other tears throughout the screen, it's terrible for me getting rid of said enemies in a quick fashion. Also makes you think maybe the super shields would have been worth it. Don't worry, we're almost there. There's the second pod. Not too far away. From the golden vroom vroom. And today, we have the spiky terrain. And there's the wormhole. And there's a bunch of bunkers with juniors. And there's our piece of little golden warp ship. That's a lot of projectiles. What would you do for a Klondike bar? Also, you saw that hitbox, and that bullet nearly hit me. The hitbox in this game is fantastic. Yep, and now I'm a little man. So I'll go ahead and destroy these. And we'll be on our way to the next planet. Eventually. Yep, there we go. And from here is smooth sailing. So if you can get yourself at that perfect angle, you might be able to drag this pretty easily. But remember, this piece of the golden warp ship is always super heavy and tends to go wherever it darn pleases. Aha! And with this, as always, to our next planet. Right after the Cyber Zone. How many can I collect today? How many can I collect today? It just wouldn't get that last one, would it? 7. If you have ever gotten more than 8 gems, I applaud you. And consider you a master. You should do your own video game Let's Play. You should stream sometime. But for right now, I'm going to blast off. And skip this part. A lot of you have seen it already. To my next lovely thing. We got a momentum killer. That sounds pretty awesome, actually. Double strength thrusters. But I want that Italian racing pod. You can only get some things on some, after some planets, which is a darn shame. And once your pod blows up, you don't own almost all of these. The only real upgrade is that. So in the next video, we go to shish kebab with negative gravity in Mogrim. How does negative gravity work? Find out in the next video.